All right, what's going on, everybody? We are live. It's episode 23 of the weekly walk off, man. We are October 1st right now. It is not quite officially, but we're right about at the postseason. Nate, what's up?
How we doing? Yeah, man. Best time of year. Sucks that the Red Sox aren't in it, but looking forward to some playoff baseball on Tuesday.
Same with my Giants, man. We put together somewhat of a respectable season. It was disappointing how it ended up panning out, but man, I'm just looking at the standings right now, and it is pretty interesting to see who ended up making it in there. The way that things shook out over the past month or so, since we've been kind of on and off of the pod, has been really interesting, man. Some teams got hot, some teams got cold, and wow, it's
Yeah.
it's going to be a fun one, man. I can't wait for Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, Houston, Texas, Seattle was the story of this weekend. Brutal loss for Seattle fans. Luis Castillo has been great all year, and then his last two starts have been pretty bad, and especially the other day, just pretty much lost it for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Houston and Texas making their way in. But yeah, it's I still think the craziest story is that Baltimore ended up winning the AL East with 101 wins. Just
Amazing,
wild.
man. Amazing. Baltimore, I was looking at that. Baltimore and Atlanta, the only two teams to break the 100 mark this year.
Yep.
We were talking about the AL East at the beginning of the year. I remember like potentially having three teams up there or four teams up there, with that shot. But man, the Rays with 99, such a good season too that they were able to hold on like they did. And playing some really good baseball too, man. And the Phillies, like we thought, are just kind of plugging into the wild card race like we thought they would be.
For sure.
Before we jump into things, I did want to make an announcement. I got the stash going right here for Movember. I did an 18-mile run this morning. Feel pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I feel better than I did on my 15-mile run, my 13-mile run. If you are a runner, it's crazy how electrolytes and carbs on your run and fueling the right way and a little bit cooler of a weather can make a huge difference on those. But I digress. I want to do a giveaway to the community. I mentioned this before. I'm going to share my screen real quick. But I'm running with the Movember Foundation. That's why I have the mustache. It's a foundation that benefits men's health causes like testicular cancer, prostate cancer, mental health and suicide, stuff like that. Amazing charity. I've raised about $3,000 for them since 2018. And my pledge for the New York City Marathon team is $3,000 this year. So I'm going to share my screen here, and the link is down there in the description below. What I'm going to do is any donation of any amount, you're entered to win a Rafael Devers limited card or a Zach Levine limited card. Just let me know kind of who you want and then how to get a hold of you in the comment section. And then, we'll go about it that way. At the end of the month or at the end of the postseason, I'll give away those cards. Devers, I thought, was an awesome value. Zach Levine, I thought, was great value coming up into the NBA season. So I'm going to be putting it out on Twitter and the Discord and all that stuff. But let me share my screen here. There we go. And yeah, it's just, let me see here, entire screen. Screen 2. Boom. Been a while. A little rusty on the
little rusty
on the controls. There we go. I am $1,000.90 in, targeted 3,000. So I got to get fundraising this month. Appreciate it big time if anybody out there is able to help me out. Like I said, any donation amount, $1, $5, whatever you can. Some people can afford more than others. We'll get you in there to win that Rafi Devers Limited. I really appreciate the thought and the support on that. So that is that, man. I'm excited to put down my first marathon. Should be fun.
Excited for you. Big accomplishment.
Yeah, man. And I'll keep you guys posted too. And another thing too, man, like, geez, talk about like a full on like marathon training schedule along with work. Like that takes up a lot of time, man. The content, admittedly slides a little bit when you're training for a marathon and you don't want to get your butt kicked. So the link here, let me throw it in the chat too. I'll throw it in the chat, and it's also in the description of these videos on LinkedIn. Let me see here. Not on LinkedIn. What am I talking about?
YouTube.
On YouTube. So it's in the chat right now. Thanks, guys. All right, let's get into some baseball here. Already kind of talked about the standings. Baltimore, Minnesota, Houston were the league winners. Braves, Brewers on top, and then the Dodgers in the West. And then the wild card really, really got interesting, man. Seattle almost in there. The Jays end up making it in there by one game. So makes me a happy guy with the cards that I have for So Rare.
Yep.
The Vladdies, the Bichettes. I mean, and they're heating up too. So that's always fun to see.
Yeah, I'm happy to have kind of my 3 stacks throughout the year have been Texas, Philadelphia, and Houston. So all of them ended up in there. Was hoping that Texas and Houston ended up as the 2 between them and Seattle. I lost my Luis Castillo, but I'll keep all my bats. So hopefully I can ride those to some finishes.
Nice, man. Yeah, I thought you had a little bit of Arizona sprinkled in there a little bit too.
Yeah, I've got a little Arizona. I've got Christian Walker and Ketel Marte. They've been hit or miss, but valuable. I guess starting players are valuable at this point. I think that I feel a little bit ill-prepared to really know what I have at my disposal. You know, I do like the way that the game weeks are broken out, and we're going to take a look at that in a little bit. But I'm not sure I have enough pitching. I think that's the biggest question mark for me.
It's going to be interesting to see. I do have some pitching. It's going to be interesting to see what we get. I mean, it'll all depend on how things play out, you know, as the rounds progress, right?
Yep.
So I've also thought kind of recently as to when am I selling certain cards, right? Like when can I achieve peak value of a card of a guy like a Brandon Marsh in rare if I wanted to sell that going into the postseason as opposed to and then maybe just buying him back in the offseason too. So that's going to be an interesting thing to keep in mind. Like I have decided already that I'm not going to be able to really compete in rare. So, therefore selling guys like Marcell Ozuna, who could have value to people, selling guys like Brandon Marsh, selling guys like, Sean Murphy's been terrible lately, but, even him or a Matt Chapman or a Varsho, depending on how far these guys go, it could be really, really interesting situation. Just kind of get out and then get back in later on.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been taking a look at manager sales over the last couple of weeks, and because it's this is my first year doing this. So just trying to observe these significant moments. And there's a lot of people dumping cards right now at really low value. And my question is, how much of that is available even in the off season? I know that there will be off season buying opportunities. We saw that last year, and I'm sure that will happen again. But I do think that you have probably a bit of a saturation of people trying to move on from cards right now of non-playoff players to try and funnel back into playoff players. So if you've got some cash on the sidelines, I think that there are spots. I'm not saying everybody, but you see guys getting listed way below floor. Devers was one of the ones that I noticed of just like, if you're playing for next year and you're not worried about the fact that you can't use these for the next few months, there are opportunities to be had. And to your point, I think that if you're not competing in a particular area for the playoffs, move on from those cards right now, because you're not going to see a better buying opportunity until maybe next April.
Yep.
And then focus on the things that you are competing in.
100%. Yeah. I mean, yeah, again, those cards, the reason I had them was to maybe compete in some playoff competitions, but we'll see how that goes. I mean, do I have everything that I need to be able to put together a really competitive lineup without striking, some really, really lucky streak or something like that?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, definitely, I think you're set maybe a little bit better than I am when it comes to, I don't know. I mean, I might be okay. We might be all right. So, yeah. What? Let me see here. What else can we take a look into? You want to pull up the?
I've got the Twitter thread pulled up for. Here, let me share my screen.
Okay, cool. And I got the let me see here, the blog article too.
Yeah, I guess it's probably about the same thing.
Probably. What do you think of it overall? Pretty fun.
So yeah, let's start with the game week schedule. I think they did a good job with it. And so what you'll notice is it's broken out by series, and what they've done is divided it into the games that are guaranteed to happen and then the games that are not guaranteed to happen, which I think is a really fun way to do it. So wild card series is all baked into one. You know you're going to get at least 2 games times 4 series, so that's your minimum number of 8, and then you can max it out at 12 if the series all go to 3. And then with the divisional series, they've got 4 series times the or sorry, yeah, four series times the first 2 games guaranteed to happen, and then you're guaranteed to have 1 game each for the additional. But you're going to have 1 game week that you don't have to think about it. All those games are going to get played, and then you're going to have a very speculative game week kind of split in between. And I think that that's fun because you are going to have that type of assessment that needed to occur with shortened series either way. So I like the way that they kind of put a very safe series or a very safe game week followed by a very volatile game week. Then you will go back into game week 4 with a very safe league championship series. You know exactly what you have, and then it's going to be super volatile again. So I like the way that they did it. I think that it was a difficult thing to balance, but what they did makes sense to me, and I'm happy with it. What were your thoughts on it?
I completely agree, man. Super smart the way that they put it together. It kind of gives you, some stability, right? And then the speculation as well. I think, and the condensing of the contests, like I think that's going to be, great for more active involvement. Man, I'm pretty pumped for the postseason. I'm definitely going to be trying to get to the top of the playoff chase for sure. So we'll see. I may even have to. I've been sitting on the sideline with a little bit of balance with some stuff that I sold. Like I am not opposed to going in and maybe picking up a card that, like I said, is it going to come down in the off season? Sure. But like, can I use it now in the playoffs and
Yeah.
in the postseason and make this thing work? Another one out there, man. I saw another interesting one today. I'm blanking on it, but it's definitely a playoff one that I saw recently. So,
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is grabbing a guy right now that's a little bit inflated in price, but that you get to use in these contests that have bigger prizes. They've got the championship chase that we're going to talk about here. And it's also you're buying a guy that's on a playoff team that's probably still going to be a very useful card to have next season. So as long as your plan wasn't to liquidate your whole collection this offseason, then buying playoff players you could do worse things with your money.
for sure, for sure. So the competitions and the playoff chase are the championship chase, postseason long leaderboard, where you cumulatively total up your scores. So that's fun. I mean, they did a very similar thing for NBA, but I think this is going to be more effective and more fun with the way that they split up the game weeks for sure. Common, did we get any clarity on the swaps?
I don't believe so. I don't think that there's been anything stated on that.
I didn't think so either. If anybody knows in the chats, pipe it out at us or in the Discord, come out in there and let us know. But this is the tournament for the postseason. So limited all-star, limited pro, rare all-star, rare pro, super rare all-star, super rare pro. So definitely still able to use these limiteds in the rare all-star. Maybe I can, like my thought was that like early on when there's still a lot of teams left, I'll probably be able to put together some like pretty fun stacks that will, give me a chance to, maybe get up there on the rare all-star. Maybe rare pro, definitely not so much. But maybe on the rare all-star, if I can, catch a hot streak from, my Blue Jay stack, like I did early on in the season for that 8th place finish, like why not?
This is going to be a really different brand of Sorare. Starters are going to go much shorter. That's what happens in the playoffs. Relievers are going to be, I think that guys that are long relievers, guys that go 2 or 3 innings for a team, like I've been kind of taking a look at who those guys are on each team. I think they're going to have a lot of value. This is not going to be, you're not going to have these big stacks. When we've talked about this over the last month or so, but you're not going to be able to stack against Oakland and against Kansas City. And
Right.
it just doesn't exist. It's going to be good teams with good pitching. So a team that scores 6 or 7 runs in a game, that's a big offensive production. So I think that stacks, I'm more excited about stacks than ever because you're hoping to just catch 1 or 2 games where there's production. And you're hoping that you just get that one game where a pitcher falls apart and you get those 1 or 2 big innings that can do it itself. So I do think that going for that home run and playing that upside is the way to do it, because piecing together one player here, one player there, it could work. It could work, but I think you're more likely to catch lightning in a bottle with a stack.
I think so too. Especially like a Brave stack or something like that.
Yeah. That's the obvious one. Those cards are so expensive. Unfortunately, I only have Olsen. He was the only one that I picked up in the offseason. But yeah, Braves, Dodgers. I'm excited about Philly as well.
For sure. Philly, 100%. Those are the teams that can get to a starting pitcher real quick, right?
Yep.
Take it to the bullpen. The more and more I'm thinking this through, the more and more the pitching comes to mind. That's going to be really interesting on the starting pitching front.
I think that if you get 20 points from a starting pitcher, you're going to be really happy about it.
Yeah. Nice. What else do we got? Let me see here.
Was there anything else on that? So, people have probably noticed already we've got playoff tickets involved on all the podiums for these challenges. They have been for the last 3 game weeks. We've also got signed merch that's being given out as prizes for the playoff. I think those actually might be specifically to the championship chase.
I have that pulled up right here. And I think the last one is this week going to the ALCS, NLCS, or World Series. So if you get first place in one of these common contests, first through third get 2 tickets in the paid contest, and then the first place gets the common All-Star gets them too. So, and those are in the pro competitions.
Mm-hmm.
We had Miguel in here, was in first place at the end of yesterday. Let me see here. I think I saw him down in we can pull up the game link too. I have it pulled up. It's crazy how low the scores were. We talked about this before we set our lineups on Friday. We don't know how to play this, and we both got bit by it too. I played John Gray, didn't pitch today. They clinched yesterday.
Yep. So, I played Gosman in pro knowing that it was a roll of the dice since he pitched on the 3rd day. It was such a weird one. I didn't even stress myself out. I spent very little time putting in lineups this week because I just knew that it was going to end in frustration.
I should have just thrown Lance Lynn or Nick Martinez in there at this spot right here and called it a day. Look at our boy Tanner Scott. I put this in the Is he
started him last week?
The unsung hero of the season or what?
Yeah. I started him last week. He got 0. Then I threw him I think I put him in a training lineup this week, 47. But yeah, he's been great. I've had him all year. He's definitely helped me some game weeks. I think I picked him up for $1. He's been great. And he's the actual closer now, which he wasn't when I first picked him up, but he took over closer for Robertson.
Yep. That's a fun one. I should have thrown Lance Lynn, Nick Martinez in there. Nick Martinez got a start and did really well. What else do we got around here? Nothing else. Nothing a ton going on, but you love to see Ozuna heating up going into the playoffs in March too. So
I managed to grab a tier 3. Took 100th place in limited All-Star this week on the back of Pavetta's 48 points.
Nice.
Had all my Astros in that one plus Freddie Freeman, but Luis Castillo's 1-point performance cost me a real finish. So that was my frustration of the week, but didn't even come down to anything weird. It was just Castillo having a bad outing.
There we go. Big shouts to Moneyball to Glory Miguel. He's live in the chat. 4th place is Outstanding, man. Nice.
Very nice.
You got to keep us posted on that reward. DJ Local also in the chat has been on absolute fire to end the season. So that's always good to see as well. So Local, you the man. Thanks for stopping in as always. Let me see what we got here. We're definitely going to do, we had talked about this, but we're going to put together the list of, our big wins at the end of the season. Maybe throw a giveaway in there. So we got more content coming on the podcast, and we'll see you guys a couple more times going into postseason. But yeah, here's some signed merch that you can get. I always talk about how I need to get the memorabilia collection going. Get some shelves like you in the background over there.
I actually just won something through Candy. I actually got really lucky. They anybody in the top 100 from the campaign from last month had a shot at getting picked for some signed merch. And I think I was in like 97th place. So I had like a 2 out of 50 chance of getting it. And I got picked. And then it turns out that they hadn't updated the rankings, and I was actually in 112th place. So I shouldn't have gotten it, but I'm going to get snuck in anyway. I'm going to get last pick. So I don't know what I'll get, but hopefully got a signed baseball coming my way to add to the shelf.
Nice. Any idea who?
I requested Jackson Churio, Pete Alonso, and Jazz Chisholm, but I'm guessing those are probably among the top. I had to pick my top 3, but I'm guessing that those were among the heavily requested. So might end up with some rookie. We'll see.
Nice. Cool. Let me see here. All right. So they got the times aren't out for these games, but they got the official matchups on ESPN, which they didn't have up until today. I don't know why. I think everything was already locked in, but we got Texas, Tampa Bay, Toronto, Minnesota, Miami, Philly, Arizona, Milwaukee. You excited more so than about one of these compared to any other?
I think that Arizona, Milwaukee should be a really evenly matched. I think that's like, I mean, Texas, Tampa Bay as well. I think that Toronto beats Minnesota and Philadelphia beats Miami.
Yep.
Not that none of these teams are slouches. I don't mean it like that, but to me, those are easier picks. Whereas Texas and Tampa Bay, could see that one going 3, and Arizona, Milwaukee, could see that one going 3 as well. I think those are like the most evenly matched in my opinion, but yeah, I think these should all be good. I mean, there's a lot of good baseball.
I think so too, man. I definitely think so too. Yeah, got to tip the cap to Arizona, who, I think I had called them falling off, getting cold. Didn't happen. The Giants got hot for a little bit, but they ended up, getting the job done and getting in there. So tip the cap to them. Man, it was crazy to see the Cubs, get hot and then not make it. The Mariners get hot and then not make it. Crazy stuff, man.
It is if you have like half a stack on one of these early, wild card teams here, could be worth rounding it out with a few tens of dollars, because this is, obviously the Braves, the Dodgers, these teams have the most upside. They're the most likely to go deep, but if the Phillies make it all the way to the World Series, I'm going to get to play those cards every step of the way. So having a stack as part of this early wild card round is, hopefully a recipe for success if they make a deep run. Even just making it to the championship series, that's a lot of playability.
For sure.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that we do this actually.
Yeah, I was doing this the other day. I was playing around with it. Just kind of see what we have available, like going into it. This is this is a fun way to do it for sure. Now that it's all said and done, I think the other day when I did it, I still had the Cubs. I was still checking the Cubs. I was still checking the Reds. I was still checking a couple other people that didn't quite have it. But let me see here. Miami, Milwaukee, Minnesota, Philly, and Tampa Bay. I've gotten really lucky on a couple rewards lately, man. I got the Freddie Peralta. Okay, that's going to be usable. I got the Castellanos. That's going to be usable. Got a Ranger Suarez. He'll use it. But I don't know if they'll have him starting.
Yeah, I won a Bregman recently, which was huge because I already had Tucker, Jordan, and Jeremy Pena. Yep.
Huge. Let me see.
I've won a couple like, meh tier 5 relievers, but they've been like from Baltimore, from Toronto. Like, you just never know. You never know when you're going to run out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you never know. You could throw them into, the flex spot or something like that, and they end up getting a relief appearance or 2 relief appearances in a game week and get you 35 points. I mean, you got the.
Yep.
Let me see here. So
I did just acquire a Spencer Strider relief pitcher card. Shout out to Hud's Dog for making a sweet deal with me.
Oh, that was from Hud's Dog.
What's that?
That was from Hud's Dog.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that. Nice.
Yep. So yeah, that's a big one going in.
Yeah, check these all. Look at within the past month since our last episode. Peralta, Mullins, Tyrone Taylor, Nick Castellanos. I've just been hitting all the playoff teams.
Love it.
C123. Do you think the Phillies cards will go up in value? I think so. At least hold. For their main players. You got to think about it this way. All it takes is, there's not a ton of these out on the market, right? So all it takes is a couple people to want them and a couple people to continue wanting to play that next round for the price to jump up pretty significantly and then for it to jump up pretty significantly. So, if Castellanos, for example, is like an $8 card right now, like there's maybe, I'm just pulling this off the top of my head or whatever. Like maybe there's 10 of them out there on the marketplace for sale, period. 2 people want to play again. Then then the bottom 2 cards are gone and then the floor rises, So I'm really curious. I don't know for sure, but that's why I'm kind of being a little bit more patient with some of mine rather than listing them right now. Just kind of want to see how it goes.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be a really interesting time of year to observe. We're still in it's important to remember how early we are still with this stuff. I mean, this is literally year 1. Like you can barely even count last season. It was such an experimental period. So
for sure,
I think that the most important thing is just paying attention to these playoff teams and what they do in the marketplace as they get eliminated, as they move on to the next round. Give yourself a chance to get educated on how you might attack it next year at a minimum.
Yep. So I'm looking like I'm working with 49 cards on limited and 22 on rare.
Yeah, I'm working with 47 cards on limited.
47. So yeah, we're right about there.
And that's a slightly inflated number because I've got some garbage relievers in here that you can't really count. But
of course.
But to your point, 16 days ago, won a Willy Adames. 20 days ago, won the Bregman. Those are 2 nice cards to grab going into the playoffs. Strider. What else? Yeah, like Nelson, it was a nothing reliever that I won. Perez, nothing reliever, but you never know. You never know where I might end up that they've got 4 games that are likely and somebody else, doesn't. So we'll see.
Who are these guys throwing out there in their let me see here. Who are the Twins going to throw against the
I don't know. Are pitchers defined yet? I don't know if anything's been announced.
They're not. They're just going to throw their number 1 out there, but who would that be from Minnesota? Sonny Gray or Pablo Lopez? Yeah, Joe Ryan's been really dipping off lately.
Yeah, I was thinking about grabbing a Twins starting pitcher, although I personally think they get bumped in the first round, and I shouldn't have too much issue, but it's been tough, man. McClanahan gone.
Oh, here we go. Look at this.
Gone.
They threw a couple starters up here since we literally started talking. Yeah.
Yeah, pull it back up.
I thought it was up, but
that wasn't even there 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Glasnow, Pablo Lopez, Luzardo are all etched in for tomorrow. Eflin, Gray, Braxton Garrett are all etched in for Tuesday and Wednesday.
Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday. The other ones are still undecided. So you would imagine you got Corbin Burns, Woodruff, or Peralta.
Yep.
Probably all three of them. So that's probably going to be a safe bet.
Yeah, that's probably the route I'm going, I would think. I mean, I guess I could go Gosman against Minnesota. Was Minnesota one of the higher strikeout teams this year?
They strike out a lot.
I want to say they were one of the highs.
Yeah, Gosman. I got Bassett. Not
maybe
on.
I'm wrong.
I have Bassett on a rare, not on a limited. But I have Nola and Wheeler and Ranger.
No, they're number one. Minnesota is the highest strikeout team. So targeting. So I might go Gosman. Gosman might be my play for pro in week 1.
It's a nice play. It's going to be fun to pump up these common all-star competitions too. I mean, that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
I think with the gaming structure, I don't think it's going to be too absolutely crazy with all the swaps. I don't know, man. It will be interesting to see. Clamp1, what's going on?
I wish I had started doing it sooner, but about 2 weeks ago, I just started cleaning out my collection of any non-playoff players and just swapping in playoff players. So been working on adding in some more relievers, more starters, more middle of the road $5 to $10 cards, just trying to clean out all the garbage. I should have started it a month ago, but I've got a lot of playoff options in common, but as we know, that is the longest shot of long shots.
Yeah, no doubt, but I'm still going to win it. Nice, man. Cool. I can't wait, man. It's gonna be fun. I get a day off tomorrow.
It's the best time of year.
It is the best time of year. Literally can't beat it. Anything else, or are we gonna wrap it up?
That's all I got. It's this is gonna be fun to observe. It's kind of been the name of the game with this show all season, is that we've been hypothesizing, observing, rerouting, and this is kind of the finale of that. So I've had a ton of fun learning this game this year. I have every intention of hitting the ground running at the start of next year as well. I have fallen in love with playing fantasy baseball in this format. So I can't wait to continue forward, but I feel like we've learned a lot. I feel like we're still frustrated as hell with relief pitchers. But yeah, this is a good format for fantasy baseball, because fantasy baseball is a weird one. It's got a lot of different wrinkles to it. And I just, at the end of the day, it's the game week structure for me that makes this so much fun.
It's super fun, man. I love fantasy baseball in general. I love the categories leagues. Man, I choked in my fantasy baseball playoffs. I was about to tell you. My team was unbelievable all year. And then I had a bye week, and then I had 4 closers. Okay. Presley, Doval, Duran, and Class A. Okay.
And they've all been brutal.
They got all 4 of them in the week that I played got beat out by David Bednar alone. That's just how it goes. And then of course, my hitters were cold. And then the next week I just had the most insane stat line, 14 stolen bases.
Of course.
13 home runs. It was
take home third place.
Yeah, it took home third. Yeah. So it
was
a blast. It was a blast. Using the extra swap is fun too, man. 100 coins for an extra swap. You rack those things up like nothing. What about this? Boosts for the playoffs?
Yeah. I mean, if there was a time to use them, there's more upside than ever. So I'm kind of happy. I used 1 boost 1 week. So I've used 350 coins total, but besides that,
I have 11,000 coins before the end of this week. So I mean, we're gonna be pretty good.
Yeah, I've got about 4,100 coins.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been racking them up because you got the rare competitions as well.
The rare competitions really help, man. Even if you just throw lineups in there, I think Local might have been the one that even just said that. Just get in those lineups.
Damn, I wish I had thought of that, because you could put together real cheap rare lineups over the last month.
you could put together a $10 rare lineup, you know? But yeah, that's a lot of coins. That's stuff for next year.
Yeah, that was big brain.
Yeah. So
Playing chess over there.
yeah, exactly. Always. Cool, man. Well, this was a blast. Good to be back. Good to see everybody in the chats. Stop by the Discord. Come say what's up. Good luck setting those lineups. Have fun watching postseason baseball. One more plug if you guys want to donate to my Movember charity foundation, benefiting men's health, testicular cancer, prostate cancer, and all that amazing stuff. I'm on their New York City Marathon team, running the New York City Marathon on November 5th. So that's what the stash is for, to raise awareness for that. My pledge is to raise $3,000, and anybody who donates anything, any size donation, will be put in to win a Rafael Devers or a Zach Levine limited card. So appreciate you all, and we'll see you on the next stream.
See you guys.
Peace.